Will, just want to kick it off. Congratulations. But we just heard from Bruce Bochy about how excited he is for you for this opportunity. What has he taught you in your 2 years under him that prepared you for this?
Yeah, it's been amazing with Boch. Just really inclusive, and with all our staff, and really just brought me into the fold on everything. Every part of the game. From the way he communicates with players and solving problems with them to bullpen strategy, in-game strategy. He really did an amazing job just bringing me along and really getting me ready for this opportunity.
He said, obviously I hate to lose him, but he was ready. It was his time. Were you certain of that? Obviously, proven it by getting this job. Were you certain as he was that it was time?
I do feel like that, and at the same time, with new jobs, you're also probably never ready, until you get in there and get your feet wet. But I do know with the last couple of years with him, and certainly my time in Boston with Alex, and especially these last couple of years with what Boch exposed me to, really feel like he pushed me to the degree that I'm, confident that I'm ready for the job.
Speaking of Walker, earlier today, you said that the principles you stressed were leading with kindness and extending empathy. Where did those kind of come from you? How did you develop that? Why is that so important for how you want to manage?
I think that's just who I am, number one, and kind of the values that my parents and family instilled in me, and also as I was somebody that was an athlete for most of my life. I think I responded well to that kind of leadership. So it's just something that's important to me and kind of natural to who I am.
How does that play with a younger team that's kind of rebuilding and kind of working, starting lower and kind of working their way towards the ultimate goal?
Yeah, I think with the challenges that everybody faces in baseball, I think it's important to have a positive environment, and certainly with a young group like we have that's going to be establishing themselves and trying to figure it out and going through some stuff. To have a positive environment is going to be huge for their development, and again, that's just something as I've experienced it that's important.
With more time on the job, what have you kind of learned more about what direction this team is going in and what it's going to take to get them to be where you want them to be?
I think, the thing that's really stood out the last 4 weeks is talking to players and just their excitement for just continuing to get better and turning the page on last year and continuing to build the foundation of good baseball and things that they're motivated to do, which, is certainly develop, individually, but also as a group.
When you visit a player, what do you seek to get out of that? Is it like the same questionnaire for everybody, or are you trying to get specific one-on-ones with players?
It's just connecting. I'm new to this group. I have a lot of relationships that I'm going to have, and I'm starting at zero with a lot of these guys. I don't have history with a lot of these players. I know some of the staff a little bit, but I don't go in there with any agenda. Really, it's just get to know these guys.
Coming off of a 120-loss season, you could lose 100 games next year. Hypothetically, it's still going to be a 20-game tournament. How do you quantify success? How will you quantify success?
Yeah, I mean, obviously wins and losses matter, and we'll all be judged on that. I think also it's about our players, and did we support them to get better? Did they get better and continue to develop? And then did we do the things, internally with our infrastructure and our systems and processes to set us up for success in the future too? There's a lot of work being done behind the scenes, so I think all those are fair measures of our success.
What's your philosophy about coaches? Used to be, anybody could hit fungos or throw a batting practice. What is the philosophy for you and the organization about who you hired and what you expect?
A lot of different things. I mean, I think number one, nowadays you have to be able to handle information, right? You have to have an understanding of the analytics, have to have an understanding of how to apply those, and I think the most important thing is to be able to connect with players and communicate with players. I think that when you look at all the ingredients involved into great coaches, I mean, it's a lot of stuff and probably a lot to ask of individual coaches. And I don't think that there's an expectation for any one person to be able to do everything. It's really about how we're all complement each other and can help move the group forward.
How do you talk to your coaching staff, and how do you think personally about trying to develop some guys, maybe prospects who are going to be coming up to the
majors for the first time next season. How do you guys kind of approach the development side of managing a Major League Baseball team?
That's a really big question. I think that there's a lot of things that go into that. I think, certainly being able to connect with these guys and, develop the relationship where we can have, easy communication and honest communication, and at the same time really be thoughtful about the things that we know make players good, and have an understanding of who these players are, and be able to match those things up and set them up for success to be able to progress in those areas.
Will, the first part of your career, started in Chicago. What does it mean for you to come back to Chicago and, have this role in this city?
It means a lot. That was part of the appeal, and just talking to Chris about the job is our history with Chicago and how much we loved it, having the kids in the city, and now that they're a little bit older, they're excited about coming back. So certainly excited about the city, and then just what baseball means in the city too. It was a great experience there in Chicago the first time around, and excited about this one too.
So much of your staff kind of predating you with the White Sox. Do you feel like you got to put your stamp on this coaching staff, or do you feel like that's even necessary? It's more about just gelling together as a group.
I think it's about what's the best thing for the group, and that's the thing that if I'm going from a blank slate, that's going to be something that's important, right? What's the best thing for this group? And it just so happened that I had the advantage of having some people in place that have already had, really good relationships with our players and understand the job. So I think of it as a very much of a positive. There's a lot of people in this league that, I know can help, but, I'm confident these are the right people for this group.
With the coaches hat now in place, what's next on
Yeah, continuing to connect with players, which is something that's been ongoing. We're still building out our infrastructure. That's something that's kind of a daily thing, and making sure that we have, our advanced process tightened up. The feedback loops, the information that we're going to be presenting to players. Getting ready for spring training. Just talking today about spring training stuff. We're talking about fundamentals and the things that we want to do in camp. So there's a lot, and it's, every day there's something new.
I think Chris said yesterday you met with some players face to face so far. How many of you think you've met with since you've taken over?
In person, there's been 6 guys. Did a Florida tour in Miami, Jupiter, and Tampa, and just did a few days there, and was able to connect with a couple guys just as they were working out, just to touch base. I'm not sure if there's going to be another trip in the future, but just was able to connect with a few guys, which was great.
So Jim kind of asked this, but what do you, when you meet with them, especially since you're the new guy, they know of you obviously, but what are you kind of a part of, or just kind of a casual conversation?
Really just casual, we got a chance to watch them work out. Some of the hitters, we just got to see them work out in the cage. I was able to have lunch with a couple of them, and just really just touch base and connect. Again, just really informal. Just wanted to start that relationship.
Do you see the importance of getting a veteran maybe as part of this pitching staff, considering how young it is, and maybe somebody who you can rely on to go out there for a certain number of innings every game?
Yeah, I think it is, and I think you look what we've done on the position player side with Slater and Talkman, and just having some stabilizers, some guys who have been there and performed with consistency. I think that's probably something that you'll see on the pitching side too, with such a young group. And at the same time, we're really happy about this group and the prospect of them developing.
What do you like about Talkman?
Just the consistency, can control the zone, give you a professional at bat, good defender, good base runner, just one of those guys that you can depend on every day.
Being a manager or coach in Chicago has not been the greatest thing in the world over the last year or so. How do you expect your message to resonate with White Sox fans?
Yeah, as far as what's happened in the past, I understand that these fans and this team has been here a long time. I'm looking at this as a fresh start for me. There's things that we're going to go out and do that are going to be unique to this club, and really excited about building that foundation for the future of the next great team.
Will spring training be pretty standard, or will there be some Will Venable wrinkles or anything different about the way that you approach it?
I think mostly standard. I think the thing that we have the ability to do is just be really selective about the things that we choose that are important to us, and that we go out and train every day. I don't think that in spring training you can cover everything. Certainly, there's going to be things that we address and want to be really focused about those things. We also want to continue to work on those things throughout the year. So I think that, more than anything, it's just going to be very focused spring training for us.
Being a former outfielder and bringing Talkman in and him having experience all around, how do you weigh rotating outfielders in and out, potentially positions they're weaker at, to maximize flexibility versus putting players in position to succeed and where they're more comfortable?
Yeah, you have to look at the whole picture, right, and what that means on that day to push us forward and hopefully win the game. That puzzle is different every day with how players are feeling, their skill level. So it's really a day-to-day thing.
When you're pushing a guy maybe too much or asking more than maybe he's comfortable with, and you adjust standards accordingly.
Standards in what way?
Say like a guy who's playing right move to center to fill in, and maybe doesn't make certain plays that other players like. You say like, well, he's doing what he can because we need him there, and we're just working with that.
I think in any case, we're going to have expectations for our players to go out there and give us great effort, and we certainly understand if we're asking guys to play positions that they're not comfortable with, that there might be performance tied to that, but. I think most importantly, we're just expecting guys to go out there and play hard and do the right thing.
Are you already thinking about how playing time in right field is going to shake out with some of the new guys you brought in?
Not really, to be honest. I think that we're, going to continue to develop this roster throughout the off season and see where we're at, and then even in spring training, you've got to see how things shake out, and by the end of it, I hope we have a really good understanding of how we're going to utilize our guys.
A lot of teams have re-envisioned the way teams get ready for the game, right? In other words, is there too much downtime? Is there too much talk? Should you take a few days a week of infield? What's your perception of that, having played the game for a long time, been a coach now and now a manager, as to how to prepare a team to have its energy ready to play?
Yeah, I think it's a really challenging thing to do. Every manager is going to be challenged to do that. You have the demands of 162 games that you have to keep in mind. You also have to set up a structure where you're addressing the things that are important to winning, and that means practicing things that maybe aren't going to show up that day, but that you need to practice. And then there's just getting ready for that day. You mix all those things together, and I think again every manager is going to be challenged for what that looks like on a daily basis, and that's something that we're talking about with our staff, even now.
Do you find players being different as far as nature and handling these type of situations than when you started playing?
Yes and no. I think that even when I was playing, you just saw guys that just went about it differently. Everyone's got their different approach for being ready for that night, and so that's another component that you have to keep in mind is that you might have the best pregame schedule in the world, but guys have their own thoughts on how they want to get ready, and you have to honor that to a degree too.
What sort of dives have you done on guys like Wilson Montgomery and Edgar Carroll, who haven't played in the major leagues yet, but might be a part of what you guys are going to do next year?
It's really just been about the people and connecting with those guys and just getting to know them. I think as we build the roster and understand skill sets a little more and where guys show up, I'll have more thoughts on that.
Expectations be from players and things like running out of ground balls and everything that.
I think just set really clear expectations on the things that we can control, and doing them with great effort. I think there's a lot of things in this game that are going to be tough to control, and there's only a few that you get to really nail, and certainly effort down the line. Backing up bases, covering bases for pitchers. Those are the kind of things that we're going to have really high expectations for executing for sure.
Is there a way you like to hold people accountable for stuff like that? Is it benching if you see something unacceptable, or is it more for having private conversations about what the state is?
I think every situation is unique, and the progression to the point where someone is getting taken out of the game, there's probably a lot of things that happen before that, behind the scenes. For me, it's one, just setting really clear expectations on what it's supposed to look like, and that's verbally and visually, just showing guys what it is that they're expected to do. and then just having honest conversations about it, which in my experience is a really good place to start. And then beyond that, if you have to take a guy out of the game, you have to. But I think that there's a lot of steps that probably lead up to that.
Bruce Bochy is kind of like a thermostat for the guys, and he's so poised, a win or a loss. He's kind of just an even cute guy. Is there anything out of his book, or maybe some others, that you want to implement into your philosophy as a manager?
If I could, bring all of it into my philosophy, I would. I think he was just so good with his ability to communicate with players, and you said he really is a thermostat for these guys and has an understanding of the group and what their needs are on a daily basis. So, if nothing else, just the awareness that he has is something I want to take into my program.